Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video. First of all, I want to thank everyone who came to the event. I really appreciate you guys. I had people that came out of state and those that was in state that traveled a long way. So I really appreciate you. Those who bought the tickets and wasn't able to come, I appreciate you guys and I thank you. I know it was a request from the attendees if we can do something monthly. I'm going to see if I can put something together, maybe not monthly, but every so often or a couple of months that I can have an event like this. So I thank you once again. Also, I want to just make it clear, I'm not a credit repair person. I'm just a person that's given information. Unfortunately, the information that I learned and it is effective, I've been on the opposite end of some real hard times and I kind of found my way in the dark and I'm just sharing this information with you guys. I did have the mentorship program, but I have reached my max. So I'm sorry I'm not able to take anybody else on, but I thank you guys for the inquiries. Also, I wanted to give you some information in this video and it's talking about MK mind control. Some of our views that we have in life are not our own. We're, especially African Americans, we got to be very careful what we're getting off of news channels and what information we're being presented. I had people that hit me up and asked questions on, or not questions, or saying, how can you really say that you can run a business and work a job? Look, the way that this world is going to, they're going to try to force you. I don't care who's getting in office. This is the new way of the world. Let me explain why. I do something called Workman's Comp audits. You're required to have Workman's Comp insurance if you are a business owner and you have employees. The way it works, they charge you more premium the more that you pay employees. So this is why employers only want to hire you for 4 hours, because the more that they pay you and they pay on their payroll, the more they have to pay the state in this insurance. So if they pay you vacation time, sick leave, overtime, triple time, that's more money that they have to pay, and it doesn't add to the business. This is why so many businesses are outsourcing and want you to operate as an independent contractor. Also, think about if you're working on a job making $10 an hour. Number one, they take money out for Social Security. If you're in my age bracket, they're telling us we might not have Social Security, but yet and still they're taking it. So it's like you going to Best Buy buying a TV. You have your receipt. You go to the back to try to pick it up. And guess what they tell you? Look, what do you think? You're entitled to a TV, but you paid for it. So now they're telling us we don't have it because thanks to Ronald Reagan, he borrowed the money out of Social Security to so-called balance the budget. So here we are now. So the next thing they tell you to do, well, you need to invest in the stock market. We've been there and done that back in 2007, 2006, invested our money. I personally lost over $40,000. And it's like, well, where'd my money go? Oh, sorry, you lost it. And you don't know how, when they're in control of the system, manipulating it all the time. So that's coming out of your check. Then they tell you disability insurance. A federal disability, you have to be disabled and not working for 6 months in order to just apply for that. So that's a scam. All of us is putting this pool of money there, but we cannot tap into it or access it. Then when you look at unemployment insurance, you're paying into unemployment, but guess what? All your working life you're paying, but you can only receive it for 6 months. What are they doing with all of that money? And then when you come into your taxes, you're paying income taxes, and you could be paying the whole time. Then at the end of the year, they can tell you you owe more. So you might make $10 an hour, but in actuality, all you bringing home is $7 an hour take home. So it's a form of new slavery. Also with the credit system, where I explained, it's not for you. If you got an 850 credit score, all it is golden handcuffs. You're in bondage, but you're just in a little less bondage than the next guy. Because all of those businesses are in place to make money and to put you in a form of slavery. So you need to think about new strategies or how you getting ahead, like investing into raw land. You know, the reason why they're driving down the price of land and getting people out of their homes, because all the rich is going to come in and buy the housing. And when they bump it up, you're going to be forced to pay rent, and you now can't afford to get a house. and you're going to be trapped in another position where you don't own anything. This is why the government want to provide everything for you, because when I could provide food, housing, everything that you need, and water, what can you do against me? You can't even complain. Chavez did the same principle. The only rich people was land owners. We need to invest in cattle, gold, silver, and right now the cheapest of all of this is land, raw land, because you can plant seeds, you can grow timber, and you can make money off of land, off of raw land. And then without a structure, your taxes is not as high. Also, I want to address today African Americans. This is going to be like Jesus had that Sermon on the Mount. I'm splitting the room here. Look, you guys, we have to consider, why are we voting Democratic all the time? Black people really need to be independent. Us being Democratic haven't gotten us anything. And I'm not saying being Republican. But what I'm saying is both parties need to pull for our vote. Look, when you look at it, Democrats was the ones that was the slave owners that was pushing to keep slavery. Abraham Lincoln, he was a Republican. So we need to treat ourselves like the Latinos, like Asians, and like Jewish community. They pull for their vote because they can vote either which way. And we need to do the same thing. We got to see what's benefiting us as African Americans and hear everybody ideas and demand that what's going to be, what laws is going to be passed and what promises to us for our community. Furthermore, a big problem, we know Fox News, we know Fox is very racist against black people. When you look at Hannity, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, and some of these other shows. But guess what else Fox bring us? Empire, which we love. Now, that's the most stereotypic show I ever seen in my life. It's like watching All in the Family, man. Like every stereotype about black people, they put it in one show. But because a black man presented to us, if that was a white director, we will be mad as a hornet right now about the show. When you look at Lee Daniels, he has some real bitter issues against African American people. Prime example, when he talked about black women, who's probably like one of his biggest supporters, he said when he was doing research for Precious, he went to an AIDS clinic for men, and to his surprise, it was a bunch of black women with children in there. He thought he stepped into the welfare office. Now we see where he get his distorted view of Cookie and this loud woman who went to jail for her husband who wasn't man enough to take the rap for her and let her to go to jail for years because she loved her man. That's ridiculous. Also, when you look at his views, he's labeling black people as being homophobic. The real truth about his family structure, his father was a cop who died in the line of duty. Of course, Fox don't want to present that as someone who maybe not views towards his son being homosexual was his view, because Fox is not going to demonize cops, of course. This was his father died back in the 70s. Let's remember, black people didn't have any rights ourselves. Martin and Malcolm got killed in 1964 and 65. So we wasn't holding back great gay rights. We're not holding back gay rights now. We don't have any power. So he's presenting a stereotype that all black rappers are homophobic. But his father he came from a family, a middle-class family. So why isn't he presenting that view for you? Why is he purposely demonizing, let's make him, oh yeah, that sounds right, a rapping drug dealer? That's feeding a stereotype. Also, when you look at Terrence Howard history, he was nominated for Hustle and Flow. He played a pimp, and Taraji P was his prostitute, and he got nominated for an Oscar. Not Will Smith, who played the role of In Pursuit of Happiness, a positive image of a black father. Why do we all accept this image of ourselves? But we get mad when the stereotype come upon us. If I was a Caucasian that never met a black family in another country, watching Precious, which Lee Daniels made, and God forbid Monster Ball and Empire, I would really think black people are really dysfunctional. That's what I would think. But because we don't demand proper television and proper images of us like back in the 90s, now we're back in a generation where our music and our TV represent us as being ignorant, pimps, and hoes. And we like this. And we celebrate it because we don't have anything else. Why aren't we pushing for positive images of us? Why do we promote this? Because a black man presented to us when he has some bitter issues against us himself. When you watch and listen to him and listen to how he speaks about us. And then you have shows like Scandal we support. The educated black woman is a white man's side piece. That's not positive. All of these images are negative. Somebody name for me four positive black family shows. Please do that on television. There is none. It's all pushing us in a negative light, and we support this. Now, that's what I want to present to us. What are we taking in and what are we believing? So I hope, if you're mad, my grandfather used to say, truth will make you fighting glad to shout and mad, but we need to consider some of the things that we're supporting. So God bless.